Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Cloud and AI Analytics. Hope everyone is doing good. I am Vignesh and in this video we are going to continue our playlist on cloud computing. I have already explained you what is cloud computing, what are the different types of cloud computing and what is the main reason why business is moving towards cloud and what are the different types of cloud providers, and finally I have covered what are the different features of cloud computing. So in this playlist, I have covered all these videos, and in this particular video, or in this video, I'm going to cover you what are the categories of services out there and how cloud is categorized those services under different models. So basically, I'm going to explain you what are the service models that cloud provides and what is what. So first we will talk with what is IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, and the next thing is what is PaaS, platform as a service, and the third one is software as a service, and finally the latest one which is function as a service. So in this video we are going to see, or we are going to cover what is this components, and without any further delay let's get started. So I'll go into my document page. So here you can see these are the categories of services, or these are the categories where we'll bring all our IT infrastructure here. So everything deals with data. The data is there: application, runtime, middleware, OS, virtualization, server, networking, and finally storage. So this is what the main component of the IT infrastructure itself. So basically there are 9 categories, and how this 9 categories are provided or offered by cloud platform under what is the models there. The cloud really has services of all sorts. So or whatever the service you want, cloud provides all those things. Like if you want to compute, there are different varieties of compute power available in cloud platforms. If it is storage for unstructured data, for structured data, for semi-structured data, there are storages, there are databases, SQL databases, NoSQL databases, for processing big data pipelines, for working with AI ML models, for networking, like what is HTTP, HTTPS, those things, for encryption or whatever the data, like data will be basically encrypted. If you wanted to have your own custom encryption also, that is also possible in cloud platform. If you wanted to do DevOps, certain services are offered by cloud platform to do the DevOps work. So all the services are basically provided by cloud platform itself. Let it be GCP, let it be Azure, let it be AWS. Irrespective of the cloud providers, everyone is trying to give all the offers, all the services to do your job inside cloud platform. So, as mentioned, you can host your web applications, make financial analysis, use pre-made tools for analyticals or even graphing as well. So, if you wanted to go with graph database also, you like even cloud platforms provide those things. So now we will see what are the service categories. The standard model of organizing all service available in the cloud into categories is the following. So there are basically 9 categories: data, application, runtime, middleware, OS, virtualization, server, networking, and finally storage. It is the simplest way to organize the cloud, as you usually will choose services. So whatever you wanted, like whatever your use case demands or requests, you will be able to use this particular categories to build your use case. So this a service model indicate the number of infrastructure levels which you decide to rent or which one you decide to manage. So the service model is not every use case we will be using, you will be building end to end. Few things you will be, like cloud will be providing it already. You have to just take it and you have to just give the data, and you have to, like, based on the use case we will be doing it. If you wanted to do the entire thing on your own, you will be able to do that as well. If you wanted to take the infrastructure controlled by cloud platform, and rest the code part or the scaling part and all, not the scaling part, the code part or writing the code, only you have to worry about those. So there are wide variety of service models out there. So when I say wide variety, there are basically 4 types. One is IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and finally function as a service. So if you see, this is what in on-site. On-site is nothing but on-premise. So when it is in on-premise, everything we have to take care. So applications, data, runtime, middleware, OS, virtualization, server, storage, networking, everything it is on us. When we go with cloud platform, certain things are taken care by cloud platform and certain things we have to take care. So if you see, if it is an infrastructure as a service like virtualization, server, storage, networking, like service providers basically provide those things, and we have to configure the applications, data, runtime, middleware, OS, those things. The same way, if it is PaaS, platform as a service, and if it is function as a service, and finally SaaS, software as a service. So first we will explain, I'll start explaining you what is infrastructure as a service. So it is basically known as IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service is a form of cloud computing that provides virtualized computing service over the internet to its users. So you will be able to do, or you will be able to provide the computing service virtualization to its user, whoever is using it. No, you will be able to provide everything virtually. You will be not able to do it physically and all. Physical configuration is not done, like it is not done in cloud concept. That is the main reason why we moved to cloud platform. So you will be able to do everything in the form of virtualization itself. So virtualization uses software to create an abstract layer over a computer hardware, and it allows the elements like storage, processing power, etc. Like you can see here, right? Applications, data, runtime, middleware, OS. So all those things will be taken care by us, and virtualization servers, storage, networking is taken care by the service provider itself, basically cloud provider. So now with infrastructure as a service, as a user, you are responsible to manage the application, data, runtime, middleware, and operating system, while the service provider manages virtualization, server, storage, and networking. So what are the different components of provided by other cloud platforms which comes under IaaS? Like in infrastructure as a service in Google Cloud, we call it as Google Compute Engine, Google Kubernetes Engine. The same way in Microsoft Azure, we call it as VM instances, and same way in AWS, we call it as EC2. So these are the different infrastructure as a services provided by Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure as well. The next one is platform as a service. So when we are dealing with platform as a service, we will not basically worry about anything. Like, let it be the runtime, let it be the auto scaling, auto loading. So whatever it is, basically auto scaling is something based on the volume of the data. You will be able to scale the server. So if it is 10 GB of data, you have only like basically cloud platform will give you only a limited volume of server. The same way, when the volume of the data is switched from 10 GB to 100 GB, why automatically cloud platform will scale the service, will scale the compute and all. So you will be able to compute it, and you will be able to do like auto scaling, auto loading. All those things will be taken care by cloud platform itself. In that case, we have to worry only about the data and the piece of the code which we write. That code, whatever the code you write it, like let it be Python, let it be Java, whatever it is, you will be able to you have to just worry about those things. Rest everything behind the picture, everything will be taken care by the cloud platform itself. So that is one of the most important. And in Google Cloud, platform as a service is something called as App Engine. So in Google Cloud, App Engine is a service which comes under PaaS, like platform as a service. The next one is software as a service. So when you see software as a service, you will be able to say like all the things are maintained by cloud platform itself. We don't need to worry about anything. For example, let's take an application, or you can take any example like Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Drive. So when something happens to Google Drive, or when something happens to Zoom, you are not going to do, the end user is not going to do or work on the fix and all. Like someone, like people who's working in Microsoft will take care of Teams. People who work in Zoom will take care of Zoom bugs and fixes. So we are not going to do anything out there. So there are various services which comes under SaaS and cloud platform. For example, in Google Cloud, you can take cloud data proc, data flow, Bigtable. All those things comes as a software as a service. So software as a service is a way company deliver applications or software over the internet to the end user. The same way like how Microsoft built Teams and they are giving to us, like we are the end user who's using it. So when something bug comes in, we are not going to fix it. People who work in teams will be able to fix that. Using a SaaS product, everything is already managed for you. You don't need to have managed anything at all. The service providers manages everything from the application, the data, the runtime, the middleware, the operating system, the virtualizations, server, storage, and even networking as well. The one example which I told you in Zoom, and the only thing you need to do is show up and connect with each other people who show up and have a meeting on that software. Everything is managed in a way that if anything happens on the application or a software, Zoom people or Zoom will already take care of it. Other example of SaaS products are Dropbox, which is a file storage system, Slack, and in Google Cloud we can talk about Dataproc, Dataflow, those things. And finally, function as a service. Yes, function as a service is a cloud computing service that allows you to execute code in response to event. If something happens in response to that, you will be able to execute a code. That thing or that is taken care by this function as a service. For example, if you take in Google Cloud, we have a service called Cloud Functions. So Cloud Function comes under function as a service. For example, if some file comes into our cloud storage bucket, or if something happens inside our environment, for example, a file comes, a data comes, or a data goes out, or a file goes out, if a response any event happens, then according to that event or according to that whatever it is happening, no, we will be able to respond to it. For some file comes in, we will be sending a mail to an end user stating that this file came into this particular environment. When some file got deleted, we will be notifying. So this is what in response to event, deleting a file or a file coming into our environment or a file going out to an environment, that is basically event. So when that event happens, we will be acknowledging it by doing some certain actions from our end. When a file deleted, we will send an email notification. When a new file comes into our environment, we will send a notification message to some people stating that this file came into this environment at this time. So basically, cloud function, it is an serverless framework. So I'll explain you what is server and what is serverless in the next video. I'll explain you what is server and serverless and what is the difference between server and serverless as well. So function as a service, it is a serverless framework. Think of a function in programming where the function takes data, processes it, responds or return as a result. This same thing is happening here. So here you can see when some file comes into it, it will process it like delete it, send it, whatever it is, no, and it will respond to that result, whatever the action or whatever the event it happens. So in examples like here you can see in AWS we call it as AWS Lambda, in Google Cloud we call it as Google Cloud Functions, and in Azure we call it as Azure Functions. So these are the popular functions, or these are the popular models which cloud has adapted, and they are providing their services in form of this particular models. So when I talk about Google Cloud, for IaaS we have Google Compute Engine, Google Kubernetes Engine. For PaaS we have Google App Engine. For FaaS, function as a service, we have Cloud Functions. For SAS we have a lot of services like Dataflow, Dataproc, Data Fusion. Those are the other services like where we get it as a software as a service. So I'll meet you on the next video where we'll be seeing what is server and what is serverless and what is the difference between server and serverless. So if you have any questions or any doubts, please post in the comment section. I'll take a look at it and reply to it as soon as possible. Please do like, comment, share and subscribe to Cloud and AI Analytics, and don't forget to click on the bell icon. I'll meet you in the next video with more interesting content from Cloud. Until then, it's bye from Vignesh. Happy learning, and please support Cloud and AI Analytics, doing it in the Cloud way. Thank you.